Hello and welcome to another episode. In today's video I am going to talk about proprietary software versus free and open source software. And the reason why I was planning to make this video is because whenever you go on Reddit or I don't know, whatever, like social media or forums and talk about open source software and Linux, people will be there whining and complaining that, oh, but you cannot have Photoshop on Linux and you cannot have Adobe Premiere Pro on Linux and stuff like that. And so what I am thinking about is that most of those people who are complaining about that have no good reason to do so. Well, of course, this is a free world, your computer, your choice, your money, your choice, whatever. But I wanted to discuss a little about these things. So I was just taking a look at this Creative Cloud. So this is Adobe's creative software package, basically. Each software has a monthly fee because nowadays you don't just buy a program on a CD or DVD and install it, of course, but you have to use it as a service and you have to pay a monthly fee for it. So like this Lightroom and Photoshop, it's like $10 a month, okay. And we have, well, this Photoshop in itself is $21 per month. So I don't know what's really the difference here, but whatever. You can have Lightroom plan with 1 terabyte. You can have Premiere Pro, which is their video editing suite, for $21 a month, or you can get like Premiere Rush, which seems to be like a dumbed down version for a lower price. They have this 3D software for $21 a month, and what else? After Effects, if you want to do most, like some video effects, Dreamweaver for website design and stuff like that. So they have a lot of different software, and well, I've never really used them, or at least I did not use them recently. The only one I used Premiere Pro maybe 8 years ago. I used Adobe Audition similarly like 10 years ago. I never paid for them. I used that on the university computer. The university provided this software and I was playing with them there. Oh, Adobe Illustrator for vector graphics is also here for $21 a month. So what my hunch is when I get into these arguments on the internet, people complaining that you cannot get this software on Linux, and well, also there are other like Linux enthusiasts who are saying that, oh, Linux adoption could be much better if we could just make it possible for Adobe to port its software easily to Linux, so we should support Flatpaks or snap packages, stuff like that. But what my thinking is that most of the people who are complaining and don't want to switch to Linux because of Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or Premiere Pro, they are kind of in a hostage situation with Adobe software. So I have to clarify that now what I'm talking about is people's personal computers, not your work computer that your company provides you. Because if you work in a company where you have to maybe do film animation and your company uses Premiere Pro, whatever, they will buy the software for you. They will give you the computers that has this software on. I don't think that you can, as an employee, you can do about that. So I don't talk about like trying to convince your employer to delete Premiere Pro and Windows on that computer. It's talking about your home computer, and on your home computer, well, I have a feeling that most of the people who pay for Premiere Pro are actually making videos for their YouTube channels that has like 100 subscribers, and they are paying all this money for that. A lot of people are not professional photographers who are paying all this money for Photoshop, and what they use Adobe Illustrator for is not really selling vector graphics for profit. So I don't think that they really need that on their home computer. So let's take a look at first some alternatives. What can you do? So if you want to do vector graphics and you are using Adobe Illustrator, you could try Inkscape, and I just bring it up because in DuckDuckGo, if you search for Inkscape, the first thing, which is an advertisement of course, that comes up will be Adobe Illustrator. I just thought it's funny. So Inkscape is a free and open source vector graphics editor, and well, they have a donate page, so if you really feel like paying money, and well, if you are using this software and you like it, you should pay them some money. But the thing is that they don't tell you how much money they want. You can pay them whatever you feel like. So if you are a new user coming to this software, you can use it for free for how long you just want. You can even start your own little logo making business, and that's the other thing. If you are doing your own business at home, so if you're doing it for hobby, why would you pay for your hobby $21 a month when you can do it for free, or you can just pay on your current financial situation? I know maybe a lot of people living in Western Europe and North America or Australia are like, yeah, my hobby just worth $21 a month for me, and I wouldn't care if I had $21 monthly more. Well, okay, good for you, but I guess you could use that money to pay to an organization which provides software that anyone can use. So even if you want to pay $21, you should pay it for people who use it to create software that anyone can use, and that way you are indirectly helping anyone in like third world countries who want to use graphics software. They can rely on Inkscape being there for them for free. Okay, if you want to edit video, I use Blender for video editing, which is so Blender is basically a 3D animation software that is just so much functions in it. You could say it's a bloated software. You can do it for like, I have a YouTube channel with literally 100 subscribers, a little less than 100 subscribers. I would feel really dumb if I paid $21 a month to make videos for my 98 subscribers a month. I would feel really dumb for that. And so Blender basically is you can use it for 3D animations. If you can find some older videos on my channel, which I did, like some few seconds, like 3D animation intros and stuff like that. I was playing with that. And so in Blender's case, they have a Blender Cloud membership, which you don't pay for the software, you pay for this kind of extra service for $10 a month, which gives you full access to Blender Cloud and a lot of other things. You can pay anytime and cancel anytime. And so they have like these featured open movies. So if you are saying that, oh, you know, like I have to use the Adobe software because that's industry standard and this kind of random free software are not good enough for me, well, think again. Blender, like they did this in Blender. You can watch these movies for free here, and if you pay for the Blender Cloud, you will have access to all the source files of these videos for $10 a month, which is, yeah, a lot less than Premiere Pro. And if you wanted to use like all full Blender functionality, you would get like these two software from Adobe. And of course, for Blender, you can support them. They have a very nice tier list of how much you should pay them per monthly, because this is a big organization. So they plan to pay 20 developers from donations. So if you have so much money because you live in the first world, Why don't you give that money to someone who are developing software that anyone can use for free? And you can get individual membership and community badges if you give them enough money. And if you can also do corporate memberships, because why not? And if you do that, so if you have like your own corporation and want to use Blender, you can do it for free, but also you can pay them. And then, well, they have the option to monitor the development of the software. What proprietary developer gives you these options? None of them. That's who. And there is GIMP for photo editing. If you are an amateur photographer, you can use GIMP instead of Photoshop. Yeah, you have to, what is this? You have to learn the functionality of it. And this is a lot of people saying that oh, I don't want to relearn everything because I know Photoshop so well. If I had to learn GIMP, oh, I would lose time, and that's lost opportunity cost. Well, I don't think that all those people who are saying that are actually professional photographers who are making money on their craft. But even, let me tell you this. If you have your own business, like you are a professional photographer, your end goal is to produce pictures. No one cares, none of your customers will care what format your raw files are in and your intermediate files are in. Most of the pictures, like if you're a wedding photographer, most probably the end result you want your customers will want are JPEG files in high resolution and pictures on a paper. And if you are a business, you have a bottom line. And especially if you are starting a business, you don't have any customers yet, you want to start a business, you have to invest in your business, you have to buy a lot of stuff. Why on earth would you pay extra money for software before you made a cent? Even a cent. So I think what you should do is start using free software, because you can start it without any investment upfront. You can start making money with this software before you paid any money for the software. And of course, you should have a conscience and you should give back to the community who made this software available for you. So if you are making profit, I think donating to these projects, or if they have some kind of a membership program, joining that membership program is a good idea. Because then you are helping other people too who want to use this software. So, just because your school gave you all these things in Adobe software, because let's face it, schools, universities, students, teachers, they get discounts, they get heavy discounts because Adobe knows it, and they know it well, that if they sell these products to the schools for cheap, and they can sell like a nicely dressed PR person to the university in a nice tie, they can convince the university, like, this is our premium software, your students will be able to do everything with this software, teach them this software. And then what they become, the universities become indoctrination camps, basically. Well, it's a little exaggeration. But so this is what my teacher told us in high school when we were learning like word processing in Microsoft Word, and we also learned like spreadsheets in Microsoft Excel. And the teacher just told us, our schools are basically just indoctrination camps for Microsoft, and this is the same for Adobe. So I think it is quite natural that maybe your university was sold a cheaper license, so you learned on Adobe Photoshop. But you learned how to take pictures and how to do photo manipulation. Photoshop is just a software, just a tool. If you use another tool, the other tool will probably have some different user interface. Some things are maybe called differently. You have to use different shortcuts. You have to use whatever different things to achieve the same thing. But, you know, let me tell you an example of how I feel about this. I used to work in a pharma company, and in that pharma company, I was working with high performance liquid chromatography instruments. So this is kind of a instrument which you can use to like test the purity of the compounds that are going into the medicine that the pharma company produces. And I was working with these kind of instruments, and there were two different brands in our lab, and both of them had different software. And when I was like a junior scientist there, then the company purchased a third brand of this instrument. And what does it mean? Basically, the physical basics of how this instrument operates is the same. You use it for the same task and you use it the same way, but the instrument is a little different. So it's a different manufacturer. They use a little different designs. They have different software which has different user interface. But because you understand how the instrument itself works, you don't need to spend months learning the third software once you know the first two. So if you learn years in Photoshop how to do nice photo manipulations, it won't take you 2 more years to learn GIMP. Or if you learn Adobe Illustrator, you won't take as much time learning Inkscape. And of course, probably you can just open a search engine and type in whatever you want to do, and you will find the solution for that. So you don't even just have to start for reading from the basics. Maybe with Blender. So if you want to use Blender, it's maybe a better idea to start with some tutorials before you start just clicking around, because it's very complicated. It's a very feature-rich software, which means some of the features are very hard to find. But anyways, so my conclusion would be is don't limit yourself to the software you learned doing stuff on, especially if that software wants you to pay a certain amount every month. Of course, if you are like a high-level professional who have very specific needs, it is possible that only the Adobe software is giving you those specific things that you need. But I think most people who use this excuse of not switching to Linux are just in a Stockholm Syndrome case, and they are stuck with Adobe because they don't want to move outside of their comfort zone, and staying in their comfort zone costs them $21 a month, which, you know, I would be happy if I could get extra $20 a month. Yeah, so this is my conclusion. Please consider trying out other software. Even if you are using free software, maybe you want to shop around, look at other alternative options. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, then why don't you like it? And if you want more rants about free software and Linux, and maybe some technical videos that are definitely coming in the future, you should subscribe to the channel. But while you are waiting for the new videos, why don't you check out my playlist about Linux? And leave a comment if you have some other proprietary software that you felt Stockholm syndromed into, and what it took for you to switch to an open source or free software alternative if you have a story like this. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.